Thanks for staying tuned to your station, the Africa Independent Television, and welcome to your program, Security Watch Africa. This is another episode that promises to be very interesting and informative, really. I must say, compliment of the season to all Christians, and as we journey towards the end of the year 2024 and coast into the year 2025, our prayer is that God Almighty will see us through peacefully into the new year. And it's a period of celebration. Security Watch Africa will advise that we celebrate with moderation. Celebrate that you'll be alive. You don't need to go to extra miles because you want to celebrate. Celebrate as you can afford. Even if you can afford, remember there are many people that do not have. So it's a period of sharing. It's a period of love. We must ensure that we share love among our fellow humans. While people are celebrating and we're all in celebration mood, this week has been a week of mixed feelings for a lot of people, particularly in Nigeria, where during the week reports says that about 34 children died in stampede in Ibadan, Oyo State, the capital of Oyo State, the Agidigbo FM program. It's sad as we are trying to assimilate what happened and look at what should have been done better. This morning, sadly, the Catholic Church, Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Maitama in Abuja, another stampede again, where police reports have just said about 10 persons are dead, and there are about another 8 injured with various degrees of injuries. This is quite sad because I wonder why, because of looking for what to eat, because all is just towards getting some succor, some palliative, and stampede takes place and people are dying. It's so sad. I think that there's need for those in authority to be able to make the welfare of Nigerians priority so that situations like this will not continue. And for us, if you have any reason to be in such crowded place, please be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. Your life is more important than whatever you are going to get. Please, this is an advice, and it's very, very important. Yes, let's go straight to the report from the Nigerian Army headquarters, where the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, held the first COAS conference, and during the conference, there was an inauguration of the AHOAS project. Sit back as we bring you this report.
Towards honoring wounded and active soldiers, Nigerian Army, under the leadership of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Olatunbosun Oluyede, inaugurated the affordable home ownership option for all soldiers project in Idu, Abuja. The landmark development featured 100 blocks of 4 flats, providing home for 400 families. While inaugurating the project, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwabi Musa, who was the special guest of honor, highlighted the Army's steadfast commitment to the welfare of its personnel and praised the significance of the project.
Permit me here to set a few records straight. While I was the Corps Commander Infantry at Jaji, I knew our past Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, conceptualized this project. Was part of those projects that he had in mind to construct before the change. And when his godson, the late Lieutenant General T.A. Lagbaja, came and took over, he continued from there. And on his passing away, current Chief of Army Staff also continued and ensured that it is completed. Now this shows the power of continuity. It shows that if we have the same mindset, we'll achieve the same thing whether we are there or not. So I want to congratulate the 3 of them for making this possible here today. Well, I'm not surprised. I don't want to say they are all Mogis. I'm happy that this successor Lieutenant General Olunde has promised to continue and has continued ensuring that we conduct these aspects of welfare for our troops and indeed for our officers. The importance of owning a decent shelter in the soldiers' lives cannot be overstated as it promises stability, security, and peace of mind, enabling them to focus fully on their duties. It is noteworthy that the Chief Army Staff is equally operating on the same commendable leadership path set by Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and his team, which will directly impact the lives of our citizens. As military men, we have continued to sacrifice so much for the nation, and we will continue to do that because that is what is our mandate.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, expressed his pride in the project.
This project represents a landmark achievement in our ongoing efforts to enhance the welfare and well-being of our soldiers and their families. The objective is primarily to support the dream of every soldier to acquire suitable and befitting post-service living accommodation in the allocation of choice from the available site options. It is believed that the affordable home ownership option for all soldiers will eventually alleviate the housing challenges of our soldiers. This Idu Abuja phase of the AWAS project is a pilot project, and it took only 15 months of direct labor to complete, thanks to the dedicated efforts of the staff of Post-Service Housing Development Limited.
Highlights of the ceremony include the ceremonial handover of keys to wounded in action soldiers, and a guided tour of the housing units.
In front are all open.
Earlier in the week, the first COAS conference under the new Chief of Army Staff was declared open by Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede. In his address, he commended officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army and spoke on his leadership.
In this conference, our focus will be on developing innovative strategies to confront and ultimately defeat terrorism and other threats to the peace and security of our dear country. I'm aware that I took command of the Nigerian Army at the critical moment when our nation faces daunting security challenges. I am, however, determined to ensure that under my leadership, the Nigerian Army remains steadfast and unwavering in the commitment to addressing the challenges facing our great nation. Our determination to protect Nigeria's territorial integrity must be stronger than ever before, and we will relentlessly pursue excellence in ensuring the safety and well-being of all Nigerians. My leadership concept aims to create an enabling environment that facilitates administrative and operational successes for the Nigerian Army.
Welcome back. I must say that Nigerian Army is improving and increasing the welfare program for the soldiers and officers for efficient delivery. Yes, kudos to the leadership, and we urge more in 2025 from all security units and departments and services to ensure that the men are considered priority in their programs. Yes, the 18th Africa Security Watch Awards conference has come and gone, but the legacies, the memories, the feelings, the information shared networking that took place was quite far-reaching, really. Last week we showed you the one of the conference series. Today, let's bring you highlights of what the speakers said during the day 2. Sit back as we bring you the 18th Africa Security Watch Conference.
We're here to discuss and explore the best ways to develop and implement governance that is truly people-centered. We need public policies aligned with the need of the people and leaderships that listen and act in the best interest of those they govern. We must work together as a global community to ensure that peace is not merely a distant dream, but an accessible reality for all Africans.
Peace and security are not mere outcomes. They are processes that require continuous effort, collaboration, and innovation. By prioritizing the needs and voices of our citizens, we lay the foundation for a society where conflicts are resolved through dialogue, where grievances are addressed through justice, and where progress is achieved through collective effort. People-centric governance is about building trust between the government and its citizens. It is about ensuring that every individual feels valued and heard, that their rights are protected and their needs are met. It is about creating a culture of accountability and transparency where the government acts as a true servant of the people. In Bayelsa State, our commitment to these principles is steadfast. We recognize that our strength lies in our diversity, in the richness of our cultures, and the resilience of our people. By enhancing people-centric governance, we aim to harness these strengths to build a more peaceful, secure, and prosperous future for all.
Permit me to quickly invite the 21st Indigenous Chief of Naval Staff of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Admiral Wells Zubairu Gambo, retired but not retired. So it's a pleasure to have you to deliver your keynote on leadership.
Leadership transcends the mere issuance of directives. It is the ability to inspire purpose, foster trust, and ensure that every team member feels valued and supported. Nowhere is this principle more critical than in the realm of security. Genuine security is not achieved through authority alone, but is sustained through relationships, mutual trust, and the active engagement of all stakeholders. As the saying goes, no leader can rise above the collective intellect of the people he leads. It is in this strength, built on shared understanding and collaboration, that drives lasting success. Leaders therefore serve as the architects of these essential relationships. Their actions, attitudes, and decisions significantly impact the morale, motivation, and resilience of their teams. In contexts such as the military, law enforcement, and local security agencies, a leader must function as both a guide and a motivator that is skilled at overcoming challenges through the establishment of an inclusive and collaborative culture that prioritizes the welfare of every individual. People-centric governance constitutes the cornerstone upon which sustainable peace and security must be established.
Non-kinetic counterterrorism operations will play an increasingly critical role in combating violent extremism in the future. States that invest and adapt to technological advancements will emerge as leaders in this domain. However, these advancements will require significant investments in energy generation, driving new global dynamics in energy supply and demand. These shifts are likely to trigger high levels of migration, organized crime, political unrest, and even civil wars. Criminal networks will become increasingly transnational. Political tensions will fuel violent extremism, and civil wars may be instigated and sustained through non-kinetic strategic operations designed to destabilize regions rich in newly discovered energy sources. This cycle of conflict will persist until a balance is found, one that secures the energy needed for a technological progress while upholding human rights and ensuring equitable treatment for all, regardless of the state of people's economic or development status.
Permit me to, with all humility, invite the Chief of Defense Staff, Federal Republic of Nigeria, to deliver the lead paper. He will be speaking on the main theme of the conference this year.
The fight against terrorism, which is multidimensional and multifaceted in nature, cannot be solved by military alone. It's worthy to mention that some of the terrorists live within the community, thereby making it difficult for the military to attack. Most times when we go for attack, even when the aircraft flies and sees that they are embedded within civilians, we call off the operation. That has prolonged the operation because we try to be precise in what we're doing. So it has made it a lot more difficult, and they're realizing that anytime they want to do that, they just mingle within the communities. So it makes it difficult because you don't want to do collateral damage. In those days of conventional warfare, you will have wiped out the whole. If we could have done that, we would have finished this operation since. Accordingly, it will require an integrated approach that involves the concerted effort of the government, the community, civil society organizations, the media, faith-based organizations, and all other members of the wider society to surmount. What we did in the Northeast is we got market women, traditional rulers, religious leaders, everybody. We made them understand that this fight is for everyone. So when they see somebody coming to the motor park and you are carrying something extra heavy, they ask you what is inside, open it. That's how we found drugs, we found ammunition, we found weapons being transported, illegal funds. Everybody now became, from the markets, everybody was looking. And that's the approach to be taken. This integrated approach is termed whole of society approach. It is expedient for the military and citizens to work together for enhanced security and sustainable economic development in the country. This approach incorporates multiple actors in response to the threats of terrorism and other related threats in the country, which will enhance citizen socio-economic development. I shall now move to strengthening multilateral arrangements. The fluid nature of transnational crimes has made states to seek security from each other by entering into alliances. You can't do it alone. These alliances and cooperation take the practical form of military cooperation, intelligence sharing, and agreements to conduct joint operations in territory of each other to eliminate a common threat of transnational dimension amongst numerous others. Within our borders, we have signed agreement with the states. You have 20 kilometers right of pursuit. If you pursue a terrorist, you can follow him 20 kilometers into the other territory. And that has made it a lot easier because before now, once they cross the border, you can't go in. And then they use that as safe haven. But now you can go. And to tell the world that Nigeria, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, we're still working together. Benin Republic, we're still working together. So I think it's important. The prevalence of armed conflict has saturated the West African sub-region with the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, which enables trans-border crimes and exacerbating terrorist activities. In this direction, efforts will be intensified to strengthen the multinational transport in the area in the Chad Basin. Other efforts in conjunction with the government to strengthen the multinational cooperation between Nigeria and other countries for enhanced international partnership will be intensified. We're doing a lot with the EU and other countries together working on that. Now a talk on sustained community support services. The need to sustain community support services and act in support of civil authority cannot be overemphasized. Community support services like providing resources, expertise, and manpower to address pressing issues such as healthcare, education, and disaster relief will be considered seriously. The military, we had to build our own capacity. I remember polio. When we had issues of polio, there were areas that the medical civilians couldn't go to. We trained our troops going on patrols So when they get to communities, they were able to give these vaccines on polio to communities. Schools that didn't have teachers, we provided teachers. Where they didn't have pipe-borne water, we gave them access to our medical centers. We did a lot. For instance, the Delhi flood, which occurred on 10 September 2024 in Maiduguri State from the Alau Dam, located about 20 kilometers away from Maiduguri, submerged half of the city, leading to high loss of lives, properties, and other sources of livelihoods. Resultantly, the armed forces of Nigeria played a vital role to provide life-saving relief to those who lost their homes in the floods. These efforts have gone a long way in providing succor to the affected communities, enhance military cooperation, and above all, endear the populace to the military, which is important to our operational engagements, especially in asymmetric warfare, where your friend by day will be your enemy at night. We will continue in that feat until total victory is achieved and sustainable citizens' socio-economic activities are guaranteed.
I will quickly invite the representatives of the Controller General of Customs, because one very important thing which I know, both in my private chat with General C.G. Musa, is the issue of tightening our borders and providing sufficient border control. The customs service in Nigeria is structured in such a way that they also help to control the border in terms of what comes in and all that. So he's the Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, has sent one of his officers to represent him.
In recent times, the Nigerian Customs Service has signed several customs mutual administrative agreements with various international and domestic stakeholders to enhance border management and trade facilitation. This agreement includes partnership with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Indian Customs, Canadian authorities, and neighboring countries, focusing on intelligence sharing, capacity building, and joint operation. Domestically, collaboration with agencies like the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and NMDPRA, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, have strengthened enforcement against smuggling and diversion. The impact of this agreement on border management has been significant. They have enhanced the detection and interception of contraband, including stolen vehicles, arms, and smuggled petroleum products. Additionally, this partnership have improved risk assessment, streamlined cross-border trade process, and bolstered Nigeria's compliance with international customs standards. By fostering collaboration and leveraging shared resources, the NCS is better equipped to combat transnational crimes, safeguarding our revenue and support national security.
Sometimes the manifestation of threats that we see in our environment makes you wonder, when you are out of the system like some of us have been, whether anybody is watching the dashboard. Because you cannot have such an array of security professionals looking at that dashboard and you wonder how certain things get missed. It's possible that maybe the real tradecraft, the fine art of doing intelligence work, because at the end of the day, with all the investment in technology, there is a human being whose brain must put all these things together and make sense of it. As my commandant in my basic training, Colonel Dare, would always say, sounds very primary. The intelligence officer must be intelligent. In this era of indiscriminate recruitment into the intelligence services, sometimes, and I dare say maybe oftentimes, we have intelligence officers who are not intelligent. And so with all your investment, if you don't invest in your people and their ability to do the hard work of making sense of all source intelligence, then your money has not been well invested. So recruit skilled analysts, hire data scientists, linguists, behavioral experts to ensure that intelligence units are equipped to handle these diverse challenges. Then we must combat corruption through transparent recruitment processes, whether it is in the area of the civilian JTF and other initiatives towards community policing. The CDS addressed that. And then accountability mechanisms. I know that our brother from the Lagos Security Trust, accountability, they are important. because they also help to build stakeholder confidence and trust. Of course, it was a delight to listen to the customs presentation because I also have here expanding regional and international partnerships, border security collaborations, immigration, customs, and they must invest in their intelligence arms. I understand that the customs sometimes, as for many years, tend to view its role more in terms of the target they set for revenue collection. But the customs is a critical contributor to the national intelligence effort. And you have to invest heavily in that. Same with immigration. Engage international allies, including Interpol, Afripol, to provide access to advanced tools and expertise. Now, we can leverage all of these competencies for countering insurgency, combating banditry, resolving farmer-herder conflicts.
Yeah, it was quite 3 days of education on issues of security, touching all forms, people-centric policing, people-centric governance, all about the people. We looked into it, and it was quite educative, really, for those who were there physically and some who joined us online. Then, if you're interested in getting more information about this and what happened, and also the communique, which is already being sent to the regional bodies, contact Security Watch Africa for more information. Until we come away again next week, I say thanks for staying tuned, and bye for now.